What do you think? But do you think that like psilocybin should be legal in our society?
Oh God, absolutely.
Regulated, or just like you can go buy it? Like like in California, you can just buy marijuana.
Grow it and do it. And,
you think so?
Yeah.
What about the people that couldn't handle it?
Don't do it.
But how do they know that they can't handle it?
Well, do it and then you'll see.
Because you can't like die from doing it, right?
No, you can't. Like I mean, I've done pretty large amounts of psilocybin.
It can't give you like anxiety to the point where you're
I mean, it could. I mean, it could give you anxiety, but it's very temporary.
Yeah,
and you can survive anxiety.
You have this mindset. You have this like fucking like strong like rock hard mindset, and a lot of people don't. They don't think like that. It's hard for them to think. You know, when they get caught up in the moment, that's it.
Well, then maybe those people will just steer clear.
Yeah.
And those of us who want to progress and move the human race forward will continue to do that. And those people
so you do
just die out.
So you are, that's kind of mean. Just kidding.
What's that mean?
I mean, it's probably true. It's true, but you know.
I don't have any mean bone in my body.
It sounds like you do kind of agree with I mean, it sounds like you're all for this idea that like psychedelics. I mean, because I've been listening to Graham Hancock, Joe Rogan, I've been on a binge. It's like made me really reassess psychedelics and drugs in general. It's really made me think about it. Like it's pretty insane how fucking like closed-minded a lot of people are in our society, and how like taboo and weird, and how like psilocybin, whatever drugs, it's not yet really a part of the mainstream conversation or whatever. And it's looked at in such a like, it's looked at pretty negatively. At least I'm from Texas. I'm from a conservative state. And for sure there, it was not.
Well, Graham Hancock, he said that we're a society that, we're not opposed to people getting off their heads with alcohol and things that make a person easily controlled.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about things like LSD and ayahuasca and psilocybin.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
That makes you question things, and we can't fucking have that.
Yeah, why?
Because our society is all about control.
Yeah. It is pretty insane.
And the flood of technology has inspired people who don't mean well to do whatever they can to use that to control us and to keep things like psilocybin illegal, and do not want anyone seeing things as they are. Because
what do you ever think about how did that start? Like why or how did this closed-minded kind of psychedelics? I mean, I agree. I definitely think it seems like it's weird because like a part of me thinks, wait a minute, I don't think the government or the people in power are like thinking about things this deeply. Like, are they really sitting here philosophizing about it?
I don't think it's a concrete, literal thought process.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, what was the seed? Like, what was the seed for this kind of notion that psychedelics and things that enable you to be able to like explore your consciousness in this, when did that start? The seed that's not good. Probably I don't know. I'm sure that there's...
I think it's probably the Industrial Revolution.
You think so? Huh.
Where it became necessary to use people in large quantities.
I haven't heard someone say that. That's a good point.
So when you have that situation come up, you've got to be able to control those people to an extent. And it's just gotten greater and greater. But I will say that I feel, because I'm an eternal optimist, that we are coming out of this period. We are pretty much, I can't imagine a time when we've been more tightly controlled. When you see people who are obviously brainwashed. There's a lot of them right now.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Just to put a pin in that. What do you mean by that?
Brainwashed by the media.
You mean people that are just...
Who aren't possessing their own thoughts. They are possessing the thoughts that have been planted in their heads by media, social media.
Like very political. We kind of talked about that a little bit before we started recording.
Political,
like super
social,
ideological.
Anything. I mean, there's no way of knowing where it's going to end. But I do think it's going to end because...
Why?
Conversely, because of that, for instance, the IDW sprang up. And if it hadn't been for them freaking out, the IDW wouldn't have sprung up.
Yeah, you did mention that. It made me like how Jordan Peterson put
and
his fucking family on what he did. It just, I didn't think about it really like that, but
he was instrumental, and that's why I thank him.
Yeah.
Even if I don't necessarily agree with everything he says, I don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have a hard time these days understanding, that you don't have to agree with everything everyone else says. And they don't have to agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's fucking all right.
I think I'm so glad you're saying that, because to me, that's like when someone has asked me, what the fuck is the IDW? Like, what is that? I just say, I think it's just this movement of people that think it's important to ask questions that might be controversial and explore ideas that aren't typically explored, but you're not in a hateful way. Like, we're having a nice conversation, like talking about shit. And I really enjoy having this conversation, and we're friends, and you're not going to say something that's going to make me dislike you, because we know that we're here for that reason, you know?
Right.
And that's what I think the IDW is about, you know? It just is like, I'm so glad that Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, whatever, all these people.
Look at the people that were in like the core when Eric Weinstein first made that term up.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, Brett Weinstein,
really
Eric Weinstein, Dave Rubin. These are all very different people.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, and yet all of these people are fucking awesome in their own right.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with any single one of them 100%.
No, of course.
And that's what makes
it's pretty fucking badass.
And this is how it is. It really is. And it's something that we have got to keep appreciating, because we don't want to fall into any traps where we start, well, I did like Jordan Peterson until he said that. Yeah. And then now I don't like him.
Yeah. The really good point that you made. This just popped into my mind, though, which is, it's funny because I love all these people in the IDW, and I think they all have valuable things to say in their own way, but none of them are talking, at least I'm not sure. I know maybe Sam Harris has, but none of them are talking about psychedelics really in this way that we are now. Or who is?
Sam Harris has.
What has he said about psychedelics?
He has said.
I need to fucking read more.
He's definitely related several of the trips he took, and they're fucking hilarious.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him talk about it.
I'm trying to think of this one.
Why they need to talk about it more.
I don't know where he was, and he was probably around your age, maybe, or young, early 20s. And he was on one of his first psychedelic trips, and somehow he got himself into a boat, and he was in the middle of a lake, I don't know, all by himself, tripping his fucking head off.
Jesus Christ. I need to listen to this. I haven't heard that.
Did you ever listen to any of the Paul Stamets, Joe Rogan?
No.
He's like this awesome mushroom guy. You should listen.
Oh, actually, I think I have heard him talk. Wait, do you mean, is he the guy that's talked about like the organism in mushrooms and how it's like huge fucking, I've listened to one, I think, but I need to listen to more.
Well, that's the one that I'm referring to, because I think he's only done one.
Tell me, what is it?
Well, the experience he had when he was a young teenager, I think. The first time he took psilocybin, he had stammered apparently as a kid, which is, I would imagine it's something that, talk about momentum.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a condition of momentum. You do it once, you get negative feedback and you think you're out of control, and it continues to get worse. I think it's one of those
I can see that.
psychological things. Anyway, so he took a bunch of psilocybin. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know how much or anything, but he took a lot, apparently. And he just sat in this tree, and there was an enormous storm.
Wow.
Like that, he said it went on for hours, and maybe that was just his perception. But yeah, lightning, and but he was okay. He was unscathed. He was thinking at the time, maybe he should get the fuck out of this tree. But at some point during that trip, he asked himself, what is this stammering thing I'm doing? What is this? This is like what I was saying happens when you are on a psychedelic. You find these things that don't serve you, and you see them for what they are. And that's what he did with his stammering. And when he got out of that tree and he came down from that trip, he didn't stammer anymore.
Wow. Psilocybin, right?
Yeah,
Psilocybin,
that was psilocybin.
I mean, if psilocybin, people that it helps them with anxiety, it helps with depression, it helps even the people that they have cancer and they have a life expectancy for whatever, and it helps them cope with that. It's mind blowing, really, if you think about how much it can help, which is why I want to try it.
Yeah, I do
engaging.
recommend it, and I don't think you would have a bad trip.